I'm Dr. Michael Haley, and we have another viewer question, and that is, can the effects of a stroke, memory loss, etc., be cured? The effects of a stroke. What is a stroke? A stroke is when blood flow to the brain is cut off. And it might be from a blood clot that gets in the way from the blood flow, and the blood flow doesn't make it to the tissues. So the tissues, the brain cells, are no longer getting the oxygen they need to survive, and they die. And whatever function those cells were responsible for could be impaired or completely changed and lost. Vessel might burst, and the blood flow no longer makes it to the destination. That would be a hemorrhagic stroke. And, again, the blood flow doesn't make it, so the cells are impaired or died. The cells die. The functions are impaired or lost. And it doesn't matter whether those cells are killed off because of alcohol poisoning, trauma, stroke. When the cells are dead, the cells are dead. And when the functions are impaired or lost, yes, they can be retrained. The most important thing is stopping the damage. So the sooner someone's treated for a stroke, the better. Medications might be used to dissolve a clot, for instance, restoring blood flow, getting blood flow to those tissues as fast as possible to prevent additional cells from being killed off. In the case of a hemorrhagic stroke, medical intervention, surgery might be needed to restore the vessel, to stop the bleeding, to stop the damage. In the case of alcohol poisoning, got to stop the alcohol poisoning. And, essentially, when the brain cells are lost, they're lost, and whatever functions they were responsible for are going to be diminished or lost. But other cells may still be helping perform those functions. And other brain cells could also be recruited to better do those functions. There was a point in time when we all learned how to walk and talk, and those functions had never been in place, but somehow our brains recruited cells and made connections that allowed for those functions. And those functions can be relearned using other brain cells. And when it comes to memory, well, this is a little bit different because the memories are probably still in there somewhere. And there's different kinds of memories. There's short-term memory and long-term memory. Someone might have short-term memory loss. They might go way back to childhood, remember something, and tell you in a story. And then minutes later, they might tell you again because they, short-term memory loss, forgot that they just told you that story. Or so in a short-term memory loss, it might be, what's your name? Oh, it's so nice to meet you. What's your name? And they don't remember what just happened. And yes, those things can be relearned and restored as the brain recruits other cells and we make new connections to make things work like they're supposed to. Memory training, there may be therapy that can actually help with those things, just like therapy can help someone learn to walk again. And the more you practice, the more those connections are made, kind of like playing an instrument. You don't read music the first time and your fingers hit all the right notes or whatever instrument it is. But as you practice, the connections are made better and better and better, and there's muscle memory, and things work more like they're supposed to. In the case of training memories, it might be reminiscing with family and friends, and maybe looking at photos or listening to familiar music, or maybe even handling certain objects from your past that meant a lot to you, to help restore those memories, those thought processes, and make those connections so they can become in your consciousness. In any case, there are professionals in this area that can teach you to do this in a way that is most conducive to restoring as much function as possible, whether it's walking and talking or remembering things. So number one, stop the damage. And number two, therapy to restore those functions and retrain the connections to work as good as possible. If you have an experience in this, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below the video. if you're on YouTube, or if you're on a blog page, if there's a comments section, we'd love to hear them. And if you have questions for me regarding this very topic, put them in the comments below the video. If you have questions for me that you think would be good content for me to address everybody, go to the blog and fill out the contact form. I will see it, and it'll probably be something that other people would benefit from. So I'd love to answer the same way I am here right now. All right, I'm Dr. Haley. Thanks for checking this out.